And again, that is something that I really want to touch on. You see the breakdown in the family and how it affects these children because of parents sometimes not understanding what their children are dealing with. And because they are bombarded and overwhelmed by the issues that they face in their regular life on a daily basis, they don't have that patience to deal with their child. So when they tell their child to do something, and someone with ADHD would forget. You would tell a child something now, and within 2 seconds they forget. Sometimes when they become overwhelmed, they shut down. So when that happens, you could beat them, you could make them repeat it over and over. It's not going to stick. And if they're not focused on something, because again, one of the issues is problem focusing. If they are not interested in something, it's very difficult for them to focus on it. And I've got a lot of reports while going to school where my report cards would basically say, Ricardo is an intelligent child, however, he's a distraction to the class, he lacks discipline. And the school system really wasn't designed for persons with these mental disorders, because a child with ADHD sitting down in a class for just 10 minutes is the equivalent of a child being in school for the entire day, a regular child. So after 10 minutes of sitting in that class, it becomes difficult for that child to focus. So they will start to fidget, they will start to do stuff, and then of course, if a teacher is seeing that, and if they don't understand what is taking place, it's easy for them to mistake it for the child being, having behavioral problems. And
exactly, or being a class clown and saying, well, you see, you give in trouble, go to the back of the class. When in fact that child, maybe you need to pay a little more attention, but you feel that child becomes a distraction to the others, or you feel that child is a problem child or comes from a home with problems and things like that, when that is far from the truth. So what you're talking about today is extremely important. Perhaps our education system, when it comes to our teachers, exactly, perhaps they could incorporate a little training to detect, not just to detect, but how to deal.
Yes, and that is actually one of my wishes and goals, to bring that awareness so that persons in power put something in place in terms of training of teachers, and also in terms of teaching children with ADHD, because it's very difficult for a child with ADHD to be in that school system where they sit down for a couple hours or whatever, and then they go for a break and they come back again. That schedule is very difficult. And me as an adult I find it difficult to keep the schedules like that because of ADHD, of course. I'm an adult. So picture a child who doesn't understand what they're dealing with, how difficult it would be on them, And now I want to make this very clear as well, right? Even though I said there are some teachers that may have, because they're not aware, it doesn't necessarily always be the teacher's fault.
Correct.
A lot of times it starts at the home, and as I keep saying, a child is a product of their environment.
Correct.
So if a child grows up in an environment where his parents always quarreling, arguing, and certain things are being done, when they go through that emotional dysregulation, the intensity of their emotions, in order for them to deal with it, they will obviously mimic the behaviors that they're accustomed to seeing, what they're around, the environment that they grew up in.